Tag TV and Tag Radio. Be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. It boasts a list of customers that include the Air Force, Army, Navy, and Marines. Oh, yes, and Boeing, Raytheon, BAE Systems, Northrop Grumman, L3 Communications, and a list of smaller enterprises, way too long to mention them all. Its goal? To find solutions, not profit. Its engineers, computer scientists, mathematicians, logisticians, and scientists have quietly gone about combining ingenuity and proven methodologies since 1987, achieving countless success, while growing to over 125 employees and bringing together some of the world's most talented professionals and state-of-the-art equipment, experts at developing new technologies to equip our nation's defense infrastructure, our nation, our state, and Warner Robins. That's right, Warner Robins, Georgia, the region of Middle Georgia, providing efficient, cost-effective solutions to pressing research and development problems. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. Up to the Tech Talk, a special focus series on the dynamic regions of Georgia where technology and innovation are happening in a big way. In some places, technology where Georgia leads the industry and the nation. In today's regional visit, we go to Middle Georgia to the state-of-the-art research facility in Warner Robins, just a short drive from Robins Air Force Base, a nonprofit operating unit of Mercer University, Mercer Engineering Research Center, MERC, to meet Charles Melvin, the center's Chief Technology Officer for Software and Systems Directorate. His 25-year career spans product development in both large organizations and as a principal in a number of technology startups. Beyond all of Charles' other responsibilities, he's also leading an effort to expand MERC's mission to include regional support for entrepreneurship and to increase the number of commercial customers served by the Research Center. It's a statewide regional Tech Talk series focused on the who, what, and where technology in our state is making things happen, locally, statewide, and across the country, as we Tech Talk MERC, Mercer's Dynamic Research Center, and its economic impact in Warner Robins, as we speak with the Research Chief Technology Officer, Charles Melvin. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Charles, welcome to Tech Talk.
Hi, Frank. Thank you for having me today.
I think most of our listeners are familiar with Mercer University and the role it's played in Georgia, Middle Georgia, but probably are not that much familiar with the Mercer Engineering Research Center, MERC as the acronym is. That was established primarily for the Robins Air Force Base, but tell me a little bit about that part of the history and then where you are today in terms of the impact you're making in that region of the state.
Yeah, Frank, I will. Mercer Engineering Research Center, or MERC, was established soon after the School of Engineering was begun, and in 1987 is when MERC was created as an institution, and we are an operating unit of Mercer University, and we're configured as a nonprofit organization.
Now, obviously, as the years have gone by and the role has expanded, certainly the services to the Air Force Base are well known, but now I think it's a case where you're reaching out to a greater opportunity, and that's taking and leveraging, I think, an expertise, can we say primarily in aerospace and maybe in other technologies, but are beginning to explore possibilities on how to expand and grow the technology market in that region?
Yeah, Frank, we are, and just, historically we were established primarily to provide a local resource of engineering talent and scientific expertise for Robins Air Force Base. And that mission's worked really well. Actually, Mercer University provides the largest number of entry-level engineers to Robins. And so the desire to have, a locally produced, highly technological workforce as being part of the primary mission from Mercer University and President Godsey at the time in establishing the School of Engineering has really been fulfilled, and has had a nice economic impact here in Central Georgia. And recognizing that, along with that population of technology savvy employees, there also needed to be an applied engineering arm for Mercer University, and so that was really the genesis for Mercer Engineering Research Center, and something that we've been doing since the beginning in 1987. And we have worked with all branches of the military, and that has historically been our largest customer base and really continues to be the mainstay of our business. And the benefits of that, are that we provide a, high-valued engineering service to our military customers. And, we take that very seriously and really proud of the work that we do there. But that base of business has also allowed us to reach out into Central Georgia in an effort to have a larger general economic impact. And
well, and as I understand it, it's grown. It's no small operation. We're talking, over 130,000 square feet of physical presence, laboratories, fabrication areas, classrooms, even 150 people that are capable of sitting in a large conference facility. So it's quite a resource in terms of a lot of aspects of economic development expansion.
It is. So, MERC, we have 153 employees as of today. And really our services, we cover all the engineering disciplines, mechanical, electrical, and software development. For the real techies in the audience, we're a CMMI Level 3 certified organization, and that basically means we have a very robust and repeatable engineering process.
Well, talk a little bit now in terms of what's happening currently in the region and what you're looking for as far as the future is concerned. Certainly, one of the great things about the broadband initiative that's going on a statewide, national basis, really, is the fact that high-speed connectivity at some point will be ubiquitous. And so where you locate isn't necessarily required by the infrastructure, although obviously that plays a part of it, but it can often be, I think, enhanced by the surrounding community, not only in its terms of quality of life, but in the level of expertise as far as certain verticals are concerned. So when we talk about the military, I'm guessing that you're looking at a lot of the kind of technologies and the kind of software capabilities that can leverage off of what we know and already understand about the military and defense organization, but also what we're looking for in the future, or is it broader than that?
Yeah, the work that we do here for the Department of Defense customers is very representative of work that's done in the commercial arena as well. And MERC historically has focused on aerospace and avionics. We actually have a world-renowned Center of Excellence for Electronic Warfare, and which comprises a broad swath of engineering. Particularly here at MERC, we do a lot of work with radar signal processing, and have developed some very cutting-edge algorithms for radar signal analysis, and that goes hand in glove with some of the work that's done here locally. But you brought up an interesting point, though, and it's something that's really dear to me, and that is, I choose to live here in Central Georgia, and in years to past, decades to past, there's really an information asymmetry where the metropolitan area is benefited by the close proximity of a lot of smart folks doing interesting things, and there was the ability to collaborate, and most of our enterprise has happened in metropolitan areas. And what's happened now with the information age and the availability of broadband and the communication services that are offered really has leveled the playing field. Mm-hmm. So here in Central Georgia, we have access to the same data and the same timeliness of data as anybody in the world. And so it does allow, an area such as Central Georgia, that is more rural than other areas, to really compete on par with any other area in the world. And so what we're looking to do here at MERC is to inject and really foster a technological ecosystem within Central Georgia to help particularly entrepreneurs start tech-centered businesses, and MERC providing that technological advantage that they might need through our engineering resources to help boost and foster that local development.
Well, again, I guess I get the general premise, and that is obviously you're a universal resource that can support all of the different verticals that are happening in the technology industry, anything that's going on in the private sector and enterprise. I guess I'm thinking in terms of Israel, when I think of all of the incredible innovations that have come out of their military research and military testing that have spawned off to commercialized products in the enterprise sector. Is that something to consider in terms of a unique selling proposition as far as attracting startups and that kind of thing, or is that getting too myopic in terms of just looking at that one segment?
No, I'm very impressed with Israel to be such a small country, not in a particularly friendly environment, and they have
that necessity may be the mother of that invention. Is that in a way? I guess. Go ahead, please.
That may be true, but I'll tell you what's fascinating is how the impact that the Israelis have had on cellular communications, and so many of the companies that have developed the various cellular networks and protocols that we operate on came from that area. So what you're saying is exactly true, and that's what we'd like to see MERC enable here locally. And it may not be telecommunications, it may be agriculturally centered. We have a group here that work a lot with unmanned aerial vehicles, and particularly in non-DoD use of those for disaster recovery, for searching buildings, and then for agriculture. And there's just a fascinating realm of investigation going on now on how to use UAVs. And we're doing some of that work in collaboration with the college out in Eastman, Middle Georgia College, and State University, I think is the new name for that group. But they have a great composites lab there and doing a lot of really interesting UAV work there. So, it's just interesting and again, that falls back, it's all information. I mean, it's a platform that you can happen to fly around, but it basically streams video and telemetry data to let humans make decisions. And so it's just an interesting use case there.
I guess, because we get the opportunity here at Tech Talk to touch upon so many verticals, and obviously one of the things, economic development is the key that plays a role across all of those situations at one level or another, and we often say everything is the same, only different. Everything is getting into high-speed connectivity, cloud, app, mobility, and it's literally disrupting. We used to use those terms. I don't know if you can I was saying earlier at a conversation we were having that is there really a word called change anymore, or is it successive transformation? It's a never-ending aspect. In order for change to happen, it has to be static for a while to have some comparison to what's going on to move to the next thing. And so I guess from a pure passion to see something like what you're trying to accomplish really materialize, you get into a marketing mentality and you start saying, okay, well, what's unique? What is the unique selling proposition? And I keep leaning back towards the military component and the fact of the expertise. And what you just brought up to the conversation, Charles, is the expansiveness of that. I mean, you could be myopic and think military defense, but in reality, military covers this whole spectrum of security and some of the agricultures you're talking about. I was, as you were going through some of that, I was thinking, what about virtualization and 3D? Is that something that you guys have played around with over there?
We do. So we have a team here that has developed a flight line tool that uses visualization. And so what we have is a solid model of an aircraft platform. And technicians on the field are able to take tablet computers and actually navigate through an exploded solid model of an aircraft and identify a unique part. And they can select that part from all the thousands of parts that are part of that aircraft and actually make notes about the condition of that specific part. And we also have a tool that allows you to take a structural part and do a mechanical strain model of that. So you can actually, from the field, without doing any finite element modeling, you can retrieve an individual part from this constellation of parts, components of an aircraft. You can look at it and look at the strains that part is under when in use. And then that can be used to dictate what kind of repair that you might do or the significance of a crack in a component. And all of that is fed, off of a live database and served up to our customer to allow them to do their work. So
there's a thing called BIM, Business Information Modeling. Are you familiar with that? It's used in the architectural industry because it's kind of, to say it would be similar is probably a stretch, but what it gets into is actually dealing in 3D virtualization, but the virtualization, I'm not sure the proper term to use, is really the outcome of data. It isn't an image. It's actually an image reflecting the whole database that's projecting that image by the information that's been provided into the software. Would that be sort of what you're describing in terms of this modeling thing?
It is, and what we see, and that's one particular example. But what you see is we really today are kind of awash in data. We really, as humans, have kind of data overload, and so that tool and some others that we work on are really aimed at making the data actionable to the human in the loop, and the entity that's really responsible for making it all go, which is the operator. And so trying to take data from disparate sources and distill it down so a person can look at it in a fairly short period of time, make a decision, and then cause an action to, in this case, repair an aircraft. But very similar. Just take us in a little different direction. We also, there's such a buzz around rapid prototyping and 3D printing. That's another tool that we use here that kind of goes nicely with the solid modeling and virtualization, and that is, we do a lot of mechanical design. We're able to take those parts and look at them as 3D models, and then we have a very nice 3D printing capability and render those, and actually render those in a functioning form and do fit checks and just stack up analysis on mechanical assemblies. We also, here at MERC, are mechanical, electrical, and software. So we've kind of talked about mechanical and software, but in the electrical arena, we do a lot of avionics development, a lot of reverse engineering of aging aircraft and avionics components. But invariably, our electronic design involves a component of software or embedded firmware and packaging, maybe some thermal management. And so what we're able to do is we bring all those disciplines to bear, and so we're able to produce complete from concept to final product. First, virtually, we're able to look at and analyze it. We're able to print out solid models to look at it and provide our customers to get feedback, and then ultimately to produce finished items for the customer.
Well, unfortunately, we're quickly running out of time, Charles, but I can tell you that